Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrek. Big shout out to all the iTrek fan, man, that is currently in the building. Hey, if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos. So let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Plane turbulence is getting worse with climate change. Research shows skies are now 55% bumpier than 40 years ago, and in the US alone, there have been 207 serious injuries since 2009. Turbulence is all about changes in airflow, whether that's going through a cloud or experiencing friction between layers of air, causing planes to suddenly drop at different altitudes. It's only ever caused a small number of deaths, but experts believe it's now getting more severe. That's because, as well as climate change making weather events like rain and storms more extreme, it's changing the temperature of layers of air in the atmosphere. Hotter air moves faster, so increased temperature differences between layers can cause different wind speeds to affect planes. Atmospheric scientist Professor Paul Williams has said that we can expect a doubling or tripling in the amount of severe turbulence around the world in the next few decades.
Absolutely horrible news.
I was born true secret society.
If you didn't know, what if Earth isn't the only place God has created life? Philosophers call this cosmic pluralism, the idea that there could be other worlds with other beings living out their own divine purpose. Maybe they have their own chapter of creation, their own guidance, their own connection to God, completely separate from ours. It challenges the belief that humanity is the only focus of creation. After all, if God is infinite, why would his creations be limited to just one planet?
Now, I absolutely think that that's possible. I mean, why would we be the only ones in this universe?
Look at it closely. The steep steps, the terraced layers, the narrow summit chamber. This is Ko-Kur, and it mirrors the pyramids of the Maya so perfectly that even the angles seem to match. No records show the Khmer Empire ever crossed an ocean. No ships, no maps, no contact, and yet thousands and thousands of miles apart. Two civilizations built the same shape, for the same unknown purpose. Coincidence or proof of a lost global network?
As if medieval times weren't disgusting enough, here are some of the worst jobs you could possibly have. Sin eaters ate bread off corpses to absorb their sins. Bear leaders led performing bears from town to town. They were often bitten or mauled. Leech collectors waded into swamps and bled themselves to attract leeches. Plague buriers collected and buried plague victims, obviously exposing themselves to said plague. Executioners' assistants helped clean up post-execution messes. They also sharpened axes, which led to many ouchies. Urine was a hot commodity in medieval times, so there were many urine-related jobs. Like urine collectors, they gathered pee from chamber pots to sell to tanneries and fullers. Fullers stomped on wool in vats of urine to soften and clean it, because they also used urine to clean clothes. Being a physician would suck too, because they used to drink urine as a way to diagnose medical conditions. Resurrectionists were body snatchers. They grave robbed for fresh corpses for medical schools. Rat catchers caught rats, sometimes by hand, during the plague, and miasma sniffers sniffed bad air to predict diseases during the plague. And finally, cupbearers, who not only served drinks but had to taste these drinks for poison in a time when many drinks were poisoned. Thank you.
We are so fortunate to be living in this period in time, because that seemed pretty extreme. Or was it just me?
People have somehow just found out that when you cut into a raw steak, that is not blood. When you get a raw steak out of the packet, or you cook it and it's not that cooked, what is it? There's blood on the plate. That's just what happens. But no, apparently people didn't know that that's not blood. In fact, this is actually the same for all meats, fish, beef, pork, whatever it is. When the meat is butchered and chopped up, they actually drain all of the liquid and the blood out of it before it is packed, because obviously that would make you very ill if that was all in there. So it is completely drained before you get it. So what the hell is all of this? Well, it's actually a protein known as myoglobin, which, yeah, it's a protein, so you can scran it. Definitely don't. And it's in fact one of the ways that the body moves oxygen around the entire body. This, of course, then gets released and comes out looking like it does, but it is not blood. As I say, people have been mistaking this for years, thinking that their steak or whatever it is completely undercooked, and if they eat it, it's going to make them ill. Or if you do like it rare and on the plate you end up seeing a load of that liquid, people are like, whoa. But no, you can rest assured that it is not blood. There is none of that in your food, in fact. It's just pink, and the liquid is just myoglobin.
Now, it does look just like blood, let's be honest, so it'd be easy for anybody to confuse the two, but I don't really like my steaks that rare anyway, so it's all good.
This has got to be the clearest stinking photo I've ever seen of a reptilian in my life. I'm not usually someone who goes down the reptilian. I know who David Icke is, but I'm usually not someone who goes down that reptilian conspiracy trail. However, this picture of this man's wife, apparently they're saying that something glitched and then her form changed. This man's wife, this man right here, this is his wife right here, and her true form showed up and it was caught on camera. And so anyway, this is already incredibly interesting. So I did a little bit of investigating, and if you run this photo through AI, this is what you get. Get this. Stuff like this. No error level detected on this. Now this could be, I mean, you could fake this. You could still fake this. However, I ran it through a different one. And then, you know, you can run it through just about any AI. You can run any photo through any AI or any video. But then again, I don't know what kind of filters are on the AIs. But this is interesting. This man's wife looks like a reptilian. I don't know. Maybe she is. I don't know who she is. Do you know who she is?
Hey, now tell me that doesn't look like Bill Clinton. Don't lie.
Morbid Facts, Part 666. In Dante's Inferno, hell is divided into 9 circles, each one reserved for a specific sin. Today we take a tour of these 9 circles with real-life stories to match. Jean Meslier was a Catholic priest for 40 years, known for his extensive charity work and devotion. But after his death in 1729, a hidden 633-page manuscript revealed that he had secretly been an atheist the entire time. He admitted to becoming a priest only to please his parents, called religion a castle in the air, and condemned faith as a tool of oppression. Tamika Hargrave died while cheating on her husband with her car mechanic. They were getting it on inside of a closed garage while the car was still running and eventually passed out from carbon monoxide. Their unclothed bodies were later found by Tamika's husband. In 2004, Gail Laverne Grimes died in the hospital after doctors spent 6 exhausting hours trying to separate her skin from a couch. The 500-pound woman had been sitting on her living room sofa for 6 years to the point where her skin had completely fused to the fabric. Rescue workers had to transport Gail and her couch using a trailer, and she ended up dying while still attached to it. Known as the Witch of Wall Street, Hetty Green was once the richest woman in America. But she became infamous for her overly obsessive frugality. She refused to pay for heat, medical care, or clean clothes. Her son's leg once had to be amputated because she delayed treatment while searching for a free clinic. Hetty eventually died from a stroke while arguing over the cost of skim milk. In 1982, South Korean police officer Woo Bum Khan went on one of the deadliest killing rampages in world history. After his girlfriend woke him up by swatting a fly that was on his chest, he armed himself with rifles, grenades, and a service revolver, then spent the entire night moving from village to village, posing as a cop while massacring civilians in their homes. He cut phone lines, lobbed grenades into houses, and shot entire families in their sleep. By dawn, 56 people were dead and dozens more were injured. As police closed in, he ended the fury by taking his own life. Jim Jones began as a fiery Christian preacher with a passion for social justice. But behind the scenes, he rejected the Bible, called himself the reincarnation of Jesus, Buddha, and Lenin, and claimed true salvation could only be achieved through him. In 1978, he led over 900 followers, including 300 children, to a remote jungle in Guyana where they were forced to take their own lives. Their bodies were found piled in rows with their faces blue and arms entwined, proof of what happens when a heretic convinces others that he's a god. Serial killer Richard Ramirez quite literally made violence his religion. Breaking into homes at random, he often restrained entire families and carried out horrifying acts in front of them, designed to mentally and physically destroy his victims in their final moments. In multiple cases, he forced his victims to swear allegiance to the devil before killing them, and left pentagrams drawn across walls and even carved into his victim's skin. In one case, the sadistic killer gouged out a woman's eyes while she was still breathing. His crimes weren't just brutal, they were ritualistic expressions of chaos, cruelty, and complete devotion to evil. For nearly 18 years, Frenchman Jean-Claude Roman pretended to be a successful doctor with the WHO despite never graduating from medical school. He lived off of money from family and friends, claiming he was investing it into elite hedge funds. But in 1993, as his elaborate web of lies began to unravel, Roman chose mass murder over being exposed. He bludgeoned his wife to death with a rolling pin, shot his 2 children in the head, then calmly joined his parents for lunch before killing them and their dog. Roman was arrested and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 1996, 16-year-old Travis Lewis pleaded guilty to the murder of Sally McKay. While seeking closure, Sally's daughter Martha visited Travis several times while he was in prison, eventually forgiving him for killing her mother. When he got out on parole 23 years later, Martha allowed Travis to move in with her and gave her a job as groundskeeper of her estate. But when she discovered the man was frequently stealing from her, Martha fired Travis and kicked him out. Soon afterwards, Travis broke into Martha's house and stabbed her to death before drowning in a nearby lake while on the run from police.
Are your thoughts on Bigfoot?
I think a lot of the UFOs, UAPs, Bigfoot, a lot of that is demonic sleight of hand stuff. And these demons are brilliant, ancient beings. They know how to distract and confuse us. And they have a lot of power here, a lot of access to things in the natural realm. I think we're going to find out one day we're going to be with Jesus and realize, like, oh, that was just demons messing with us.
The problem with Elon is I don't think he's in total control of himself. He takes a lot of drugs. He's on ketamine, hallucinogenic drugs, Adderall. So some of his chameleon-like behavior, I don't know if it's something that he is actually creating or whether it's something that kind of drives him and he's not in control of the situation. But his strength is marketing. What he did in the early years of Tesla is one of the great marketing feats of the 21st century. He started a car company, and car companies are very, very difficult to run. They require a lot of capital to get it going. It's like the worst business to start. And what he did was he used social media to create constant interest in himself and what he was doing. And by that, he raised the stock price up because people thought that Tesla was great. He created this myth. And because of the money that came in from the stock price, he was able to actually create what he wanted to create. And it was incredibly successful. So that's his brilliance. But he's not good at politics. He's not good at other things. And so I just don't think he's in complete control of himself. And that's where I say his limits are.
This chip that can produce basically stem cells. You guys check it out.
Only about the size of a cufflink, the device itself is small, but what it could represent is enormous. In this laboratory at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, researchers demonstrate the concept. Simply place this chip on an injured part of the body and apply a small electrical current.
This process only takes less than a second. The chip does not stay with you, and the reprogramming of the cell starts.
That reprogramming turns skin cells into nearly any type of cell doctors might need to treat a patient. A breakthrough technology in regenerative medicine. For example, in a leg that is badly injured and lacks blood flow, doctors simply touch the chip to the leg and reprogram the skin cells to become functioning blood vessels.
In many cases, in 7 days, you start seeing changes, and these changes persists.
Within a week, there are active blood vessels, and by the second week, the leg is saved. In fact, in lab tests, it even worked in the brain, helping mice recover from strokes. In humans, this could allow doctors to grow brain cells on a person's skin under the guidance of their own immune system. They could then harvest those cells and inject them into the brain to treat conditions like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's disease. And no immune suppression drugs would be necessary, all by using a patient's own cells in a brand new way.
Hey, now this is a game changer that might help everybody live a better life. I'm pretty much digging it. Let me know what you think about it.
What if the fundamental purpose of our universe isn't what we think? What if its primary directive is simply to create delay, to meter out reality in a way we can experience. Consider this. The universe operates on two distinct layers. First, there's the photon instruction layer, a timeless blueprint, where every cause and effect is instantly connected. Then there's our reality, the space-time deployment frame, where these instructions play out sequentially. Think of it like this. A photon isn't just a particle of light. It's an instruction linking 2 points in space-time. The speed of light, gravity, and quantum mechanics aren't just laws. They're tools the universe uses to enforce delays, ensuring reality unfolds in a coherent sequence. This simple concept recovers both the standard model and general relativity without invoking metaphysical entities. The universe isn't just a collection of particles and forces. It's a vast system designed to transform timeless instructions into the flowing reality we experience. This isn't just philosophy. It makes testable predictions about quantum behavior and gravitational effects. Perhaps the greatest mystery of physics isn't why the universe exists, but why it insists on taking its time.
You know, I was thinking about buying my master's and I realized that that was too small of a thought. I'm going to buy Universal. They're only a $33 billion organization. I'm one of the greatest product producers that ever existed. I'm a child. I'm 43 years old. I was $53 million in debt, 4 years ago. And now it's proven that I'm the new Michael Jordan of products.
Hey, let Easy cook now.
This footage was taken in South America off the coast of Chile after a 6.4 magnitude earthquake. Let me know what you think it is. This next video I was tagged in on TikTok. Apparently it was filmed somewhere near Malaysia. I have no clue where to even begin on this one, guys. So if you hear of any legend or lore or know of anything, let me know. But this thing is weird. If it's not AI, it's definitely nothing I've ever seen, heard of, or encountered before. So if you have any insight, please let me know in the comments.
Going to space, country borders go away, except for two places. You can still see two borders from space. One of them in the daytime, you can see the border of Israel with surrounding deserts, because Israel irrigates, and so it's green, and the surrounding areas are brown. You can see that from space. Another border, which you can see from space at night, is, of course, North and South Korea. And if you look at the GDP per capita differences between Israel and surrounding nations and South Korea and North Korea, space can reveal economic inequities in at least those two places.
They've invented contacts that can now see things that the naked eye can't see, as well as see in the dark? Tell me more. Yeah, what's happening is they're putting the contacts in and they're seeing weird creatures that they can't see with the naked eye, which is freaking them out, so they don't know if they want to release them yet until they can just only see in the dark. That's awesome. The testers of these contacts said that they saw creatures that looked dark and had glowing eyes, as well as long fingers. Okay. The testers said that they could actually see super well in the dark, but What was strange is they could close their eyes and still see through their eyelids, even in the dark. Many of them had to stop testing them because of the things they were seeing and how creeped out they got. One of them also said that one of these dark creatures leaped forward at them and went through their body, they said. I like that.
Now that reminds me of those infrared goggles that they had at one point in time, right? That would allow you to see demons. I'm good on all that.
The following footage is from a woman named Maureen out of Mexico. She heard rustling in her chicken coops when she saw something that she couldn't explain. She managed to run outside the building and capture it as it was running away. But even slowing the video down, I still can't make out what this creature is. And thousands of people are saying it looks like a miniature, tiny horse. And it really does. Take a look at this footage. Comment below. Tell me what you think.
Now, we've seen all kind of animals on this show, but I've never seen anything quite like that. It did look like a miniature horse, but obviously, I don't think I've ever seen a horse that small, let's be honest. If you know what it is, definitely let me know down in the comments, though.
Billionaire founder of Telegram has revealed how he's going to divide his massive personal wealth. Pavel Durov has had his will drawn up and plans to leave the money to his children. The twist is, he apparently has more than 100, conceived both naturally and via sperm donation. His $21 billion fortune will be spread evenly between all of them when he dies.
Friend just had this camping picture. It came up in her memories. She freaked out when she saw the figure in the background. Do you think it's just a streaker or something stranger?
A streaker?
Go ahead.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, that's the deer. Okay. Oh, no. No.
Yeah, no. Nope. No. Don't
That's
like it.
not a streaker. That is...
The rake.
Literally. That... Okay. This could be a couple things. First, like, off the bat thought is... I would say that's a skinwalker of sorts.
It looks like the thing we saw in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
At the Conjuring House.
It's very similar. If this thing went down on all fours, that'd be pretty accurate.
Especially when you look at the hip leg placement, it looks like it's halfway on its way to being something else.
Right. But considering this is outside, this could be an alien.
Possibly.
I mean...
Its head is strangely small for the size of its body. It's very weird. It's a very weird image. It does seem to be this kind of naked, skinny man in the background.
Which is nothing you ever want in the background.
It is just, I mean...
It's because he's also elongated in a weird way.
He's elongated.
The proportions don't make sense.
He's not a human color.
I mean, literally, that is such a jarring photo. And if I were that person, I would never come back there. You wouldn't see me again.
No.
I'm going to go ahead and second that skinwalker guess, but go ahead and let me know in the comment section what you think it is.
Why did all these elites mysteriously pass away this year?
Former CEO of Dole, dead, June 9th, 2025. Founder of Leprino Foods, dead, June 19th, 2025. Bernard Lauder,
This
CEO,
is so crazy.
Billionaire philanthropist, dead, June 14th,
They're
2025.
all passing away in the
Frederick
same-
Smith, former
same
CEO of FedEx, dead, June 21st, 2025. Billionaire Burton Tansky, dead, March 16th, 2025. Billionaire
What
Robert
do they
Shapiro,
know?
dead. May 2nd, 2025. Former CEO of Hasbro, Alan Hassenfield, dead. July 8th, 2025. Blackstone executive,
All around the
Wesley
same
LePatner,
time.
43 years old, dead. July 2025. Junior Bridgman, billionaire, dead. March 11th, 2025.
Can someone explain
Joshua
this?
Pickles, DoorDash executive, dead. June 21st, 2025. Milestone CEO, dead. June 2025. Jim Irsay,
Stay weird.
dead. May 21st, 2025. CEO and owner of the Indianapolis Colts.
What's the most creative excuse you've ever used for being late to work?
I'm sorry, boss. I forgot I work here.
Do y'all remember how a few years ago everyone was losing their minds after they found out that like 30 to 50% of the population doesn't have an internal monologue and they started calling them NPCs? I can do you one better. I have something called aphantasia, which basically means that I can't visualize anything in my mind. And here's what that looks like. There's a continuum of, going from being able to see a full-blown apple to nothing. And that's me. So I went my entire life up until about 30 when I found out you motherfuckers can actually see shit in your head. Like the whole time, whenever someone was like, go visualize an apple, I just assumed it was a figure of speech. Like I was watching Family Guy and I'd see the little thought bubble over his head and like they were doing whatever. And I was like, oh, that's the artistic way to explain, a thought process. Oh, God. Yeah, so that's fucking cool. I guess you might have a few questions. How do I find things in my office or remember things in my car? I don't really know how to explain that to you. It's like associative or fact-based. Like I know I put things in a certain place. I know what things look like, but I just can't quite picture them per se. I could still dream. I see fine in my dreams. Everything is perfectly fine there, but for whatever reason, my visual components are just not fully there. I can draw, I can make art, but it does make it harder, I'm not gonna lie, because a lot of times I need to look at reference images and other things. But yeah, so in case you were wondering, there's, on top of people that don't have an internal monologue, there's also people out there that they don't see anything in their heads when they're thinking about it. It's weird, right?
I'm not sure what this orb is under the water. It's been there for like 30 minutes moving around and you don't see anybody in the water. It's just down there moving. What is it?
I mean, low key, it seemed like if he zoomed out enough, it would end up being like a jacuzzi or something like that.
These people saw a UFO coming out of the water, got it all on camera.
Not gonna lie, I think that's Starlink.
Starlink?
Uh-huh.
I don't think so. That looks like an alien spaceship. I've never seen anything move like that in the sky in my life. It has to be drones. Can you zoom in on it? Imagine they're fucking rockets and they like just blow us up right now.
We're near Mount Lee.
Is your camera even getting it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna FaceTime Adam.
Way too big to be drones. I don't know. Let me know what you think, though.
President Nixon called the moon on a landline in 1969. Let's break down exactly how NASA says it worked. NASA's official explanation. NASA says Nixon's call to the Apollo 11 astronauts was a standard telephone call, but it was relayed through an advanced communication system. Here's how it supposedly worked. Nixon used a regular landline at the White House. The call was routed through NASA's Mission Control in Houston. Houston then transmitted Nixon's voice to the Goldstone Deep Space Communications Complex in California, which had an 85-foot radio antenna. The signal was beamed 239,000 miles to the moon, where the lunar module's VHF radio picked it up. Armstrong and Aldrin responded, and their voices were sent back to Earth the same way. Sounds simple, right? But here's why it shouldn't have worked. The problems with the moon phone call 1. The missing signal delay. The moon is 239,000 miles away, and radio signals take 1.3 seconds one way, meaning Nixon's call should have had at least a 2.6 second delay in responses. Yet, in the broadcast, Armstrong and Aldrin respond instantly, faster than even 1960s transatlantic calls. Even if Mission Control relayed the call instantly, you'd still hear the delay in the astronauts' responses, but there's barely any. 2. The weak lunar transmitter. The lunar module's radio had only 12 watts of power, about the strength of a household Wi-Fi router. Transmitting a clear, two-way conversation across 239,000 miles with such low power? Highly unlikely. NASA's Deep Space Network needed massive radio dishes just to pick up Apollo signals, yet Nixon's voice came through crystal clear. 3. Earth's 1969 communication limitations. Long-distance calls in 1969 were unreliable. They had static, dropouts, and delays even across the U.S. Transatlantic calls required undersea cables or early satellites, which still had long pauses and interference. But somehow, Nixon's call to space, and even greater distance, worked perfectly with no issues. Before, radio interference and ionosphere distortion signals from the moon had to pass through Earth's ionosphere, which causes distortion and signal loss. But Nixon's call had no static or interference. Solar radiation and cosmic noise should have affected the transmission, yet the audio is flawless. Number 5. A perfect two-way conversation. The Apollo system supposedly allowed full duplex communication, meaning both parties could talk at the same time, like a modern cell phone. But even military radios in 1969 often used push-to-talk half-duplex, meaning only one person could speak at a time. Somehow, Nixon's call functioned like a perfect two-way conversation, despite the extreme distance and limitations of 1960s tech.
Yeah, so that's just a long-winded way of saying cap.
The very first thing you notice in this picture. Your answer might reveal more about your personality than you think. If the skull caught your eye first, you're the kind of person who can light up a room without even trying. You have a natural gift for finding the silver lining in every storm cloud, and people gravitate toward your warm, positive energy. You're the friend who can turn a disaster into a funny story. But here's the catch. While humor is your superpower, it can also be your emotional shield. Just remember, it's okay to sit with deeper feelings too. You don't always have to be on. If the girl was the first thing you noticed, you're deeply connected to the world around you. You notice the little things that others miss. The changing leaves, a kind gesture, a quiet moment of beauty, and that sensitivity shows up in your relationships. Acts of service speak loudest to you, and you love when people show they care through thoughtful actions. You set high standards for yourself and others, which can lead to stress when things don't go as planned. Trusting others is hard, but letting go just a little might bring you more peace than you expect. Want to find out what this image says about your friends? Share it and compare answers. You might be surprised.
I immediately saw the skull, but then right after that saw the chick in the mirror, so I don't know if they're combined or what, but that's definitely interesting. Let me know what you got down below. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys yet again for stopping by and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, join the iTrack fam, and I definitely will catch you on the next one.